All right, we're here this morning with Joe Paiva. He is one of the co-founders of RecruitFlow.com, a fairly new app right now for college coaches and high school athletes. And I'm going to turn the screen over to Joe, who's going to walk us through the process of getting registered, and then we'll talk more about the benefits.
So yeah, and thank you. Good morning, and thanks for having me. But to start off, obviously, with everything that's going on in the world, and just track and field in general being, so passionate about the sport. Myself and my co-founder Tremaine Grant, we've kind of come up with a system that we believe will assist and benefit both high school kids as well as college coaches in connecting. And with everything that's going on, I think just trying to get athletes of all capabilities in front of coaches is going to be important. So as Stuart said, I'm going to walk you through both the high school side as well as the college side. As far as the sign up, we tried to make it extremely easy and quick for athletes and coaches to connect or register. So here on the left, we have an athlete. So initially, obviously, you're going to, I apologize. That was the coaches. Let me go over here. We'll walk through the coach. So through the university, what we're doing is when you're a college coach, one of the criteria that we ask, and it says .com here, but this is just a test model, is we ask coaches sign up with their .edu email address. What that does is it gives us the ability to verify that they are a college coach and that they do have the ability and they are allowed to recruit, right? So right here, obviously just their email address. We should have almost every email address for Division 1, 2, 3, NAIA, and JUCO in the system, and it should automatically match you to the university by that EDU. So like right here, you can see instantly, I have myself tied to Florida State. It instantly pulls up that image of my university, and it allows me now to continue across that process of building a bio. Here, we're going to expand on this, but the bio is just a little bit about you, who you are as a coach. Some coaches have stated they'll put in All-Americans, that they've coached, maybe the event areas, but this is sort of that initial piece that any athlete's going to see, right? So that you want to put a little bit about yourself. I'm going to pause it and go back just 1 second. Again, it's going to instantly tie you right here to your university, as well as the first and last name that you put in and your email address. The phone number, these two tops, these two top areas you're going to be able to change at any time. Your email address, obviously it's tied to the university. This is something that can't be edited right now, and if for some reason you did change a university, we will be able to change that for you. The Twitter as well as Instagram profile, we're going to be able to allow, when you do match when a coach does match with an athlete, they will have access to your profile. And the big thing is we don't want to be the main area that you're communicating, because obviously there are a lot of different avenues that coaches look at. But when you do match within a coach and an athlete, we are going to be utilizing different, platforms to, whether it be Google or maybe even Zoom here, to utilize a meeting request, right? So at the time of matching, both when the coach and the athlete match, let me pause this right here. And you can see right here, we do plan on starting the matching process on 9/9/2020. We may have to push that back just a little bit, but it's something that we do feel we are getting a lot of interest. We're getting people to sign up both on the coach and athlete side that we feel is a doable thing. On the athlete side, this is a little bit more information. So what I mean by that, again, you're going to select, I'm an athlete. The athlete's going to sign up their normal email address and creating a password. We do, and you're going to see here in a second, again, safety is a big part of, obviously when we're putting kids in front of coaches, we want to make sure that everyone involved is aware. So you're going to put your name, your gender, and the year that you graduate, right? So stop right there. So the year that you graduate is going to be very important because college coaches, obviously, they're limited to what they can do and what they can say based off of the year that you are in school. So again, we're going to be adding an educational piece for the kids to understand. If I'm a senior, this is what, this is what I can do from an interaction standpoint, opposed to if I was a freshman. Here, again, safety is one of the most important things that we, think about. And we ask that you put your parents or one of your parents' information. They will get an email that states that you did join a service. Okay. Address, obviously, we want to know, coaches want to know where you're at for a lot of different reasons, whether, in Florida, there's benefits to Bright Future scholarships if you're a Florida resident. Other areas may have different programs that are similar. And so, stop right here. What we've done to really try to help the student athletes build a profile that's going to get them noticed is we created what we call an all-star badge. An all-star badge is something that will fill based off, and you can see right now it's a full gold star, it'll fill based off of the criteria that you put in. So your GPA, your clearinghouse numbers, number one. Let's go back here. There is a link for some reason if you don't have a clearinghouse number up here at the top. So obviously when you're being recruited, you want to interact with any coach, you do have to have that clearinghouse number. All right. Again, this is open to a wide range of student athletes, anyone that may have not taken the SAT or ACT, but also kids that may have just taken the PSAT. So what we're doing here is, again, giving everyone the ability to put a little bit about themselves in. And what we've tried to do is we've tried to ask coaches across the country, when you're recruiting, what is the most important thing to you, right? When you're trying to match or find someone. And I think obviously every university is going to have a little bit different criteria, but we've tried to cover all those bases. And one of the things that I think that makes us different is, and that we've heard, and I'll stop right here for a second with the video, is and not to say this in the wrong way, but I think everyone has those wind data times, right? Oh, I run 11 seconds, but I ran 10.5 with a 5.2 mile an hour tailwind, right? So it's the most important thing for coaches to understand and sort of certify what those educational sort of numbers are. So we are asking everyone to complete that star. And I think going forward, you're going to get coaches more willing to talk to kids who have verified data than unverified. So uploading your transcript, or even, and then you're going to see here in a second, your SAT scores. All right. So I just did this, Stuart. Sorry, I had a picture of you in the background because I took a picture of the, so we're uploading the transcript. It's going to be viewable. Again, it's only viewable when you match. This is not something that's viewable to anyone else outside of the coach that you're matching with. So again, safety is a top priority of what we're trying to do. So we're going to put in our height. We're going to put our telephone number in. And then here's where you can add as many events as you want. But we are trying to capture as much data. So if a coach wants to go back and verify what that was, it's not like, oh, I ran X amount, X seconds in the 100 at, the meet last Tuesday with me and my coach running only. So, we're asking, we're putting it in there. 1 second. Where what meet you did it at, the date of that event. And what's really going to be nice is we're going to prompt kids every week to update this information. So in season, when they're running, if they allow us to send them notifications or emails, we're going to say, hey, I hope you had a great week. Let's try to put some more information. Let's try to update your numbers. And here you can log an event. You can log one event, you can log 100 events, right? And it's constantly keeping track of your times and that progression throughout the season. And again, this is only something that's going to be viewable when you match with the coach. So again, we want to make sure that it's getting in front of the people that you wanted to get in front of. Here, again, the athlete's first, last name, email address, telephone number, and we've, just like the coaching side where we added Twitter, Instagram, and here, let's step back. 1 second, I'll pause it here. We've also added their mile split link, right? Because I think that's where a lot of coaches really go to when they're looking to verify information or just do general research. So, what you're going to be able to do is add that link. It's a copy and paste from mile split, and it'll automatically add it to your card on the athlete side. I apologize, you can't see down here. And then also YouTube. So if anyone has video that they want to share about themselves, it gives the coach ability to see them maybe in action rather than just kind of from a data standpoint. All right, so at that point, we are sort of at the end of the registration process. From there, what we'll do is the coaches are going to be able to filter off of any data they want, whether it be state, they can filter off of GPA scores, they can search for a specific event area. If they want to know, hey, I'm looking for a long jumper in the state of Virginia that has an SAT above 1200 and a GPA above 3.0 who jumps 21, or greater, we're going to be able to filter that instantly. And the matching is very similar to some of, not that we mirrored this off of a dating website, but it's swipe right, swipe left, right? If the athlete swipes right on a coach and that same coach swipes right on them, it'll create an instant connection and it will alert each of them that there's a match. From there, both profiles are live, so they can see everything, telephone number, email address. But until that point, you don't get to see anything. Right? Again,
once there is a match, once there is a match between high school athlete and college coach, every time that high school athlete updates his or her profile, the coach who is matched will become notified?
They'll have the option. So obviously with phones, depending on how many kids you're recruiting, you may not want to like instantly get a notification. But right. Yeah, if you log into the app, you'll be able to see that update. There'll be sort of an asterisk or a star that says, there's been an update, and there is a section where you're sort of creating your future roster, right? So what we're doing is giving you the ability now to go in there, talk to them, track their progress. Just because you match, and we're going to make this, it doesn't mean you're being recruited. It shows interest, right? It's one of those things that says, hey, I'm interested in you, and I want to follow you because I'm maybe a freshman that no one can really talk to outside of, I believe it's sending a letter, right? I think that's the only thing you can do from a coach, is send a basic letter. So it gives the coach the ability to say, hey, this is someone I want to keep track of for the next 2 years and see how they progress, and someone that I'm really interested in.
And now the athlete at least should be aware that he or she can go to that college website, fill out the recruiting questionnaire, and at least start a relationship.
So yeah, that's one of the things that we've asked, and it's not on this test system yet, but we are going to allow coaches to upload the educational link of their university, obviously the main link of their university, as well. If that university has a questionnaire for recruiting standards, they will be able to upload that as well. So again, I think everyone wants to go to the Florida, LSU, Alabama, or just different schools in Division I, but it's going to give people the ability to see, hey, where do I fit in the best? Right? Because I think that's the most important thing when you're recruiting for any sport. You want to make sure that the school you go to from a coaching standpoint, but also from an ability standpoint, is best suited for you, to give you the best odds. And I think a lot of recruiting systems, they kind of just test the waters with everyone, right? What we really want to do is try to bridge that and say, okay, listen, let's try to match you with the best off of what you're able to do or where you want to go.
So I have a boy, for example, who is a 12.6 vaulter, as opposed to another coach across town who's got a boy who's a 16.6 foot vaulter. Both are signed up with your app. However, my 12.6 can still gain interest by coaches who obviously swipe across his profile and say, hey, this fits my program.
Yeah. And that's if it fits their program. And I think that's the best way to put it. If it fits their program, That's, that's what we want to do. We want to get the athlete in front of that coach.
You mentioned that you have a link available with MileSplit. Is athletic.net also?
Not yet. No, we
Yeah.
kind of, again, we're trying to keep the screen not too busy, right?
Understandable.
And I think that's the key thing is, I think sometimes information is great, but you can have information overload at the same time.
True.
And what we've, again, talking through to, I've probably spoken to 50 to 75 college coaches across different divisions, and MileSplit right now does seem to be the go-to.
Agreed.
Athletic.net is going to, but that, as well as there's an international one, and probably in 6 to 8 months we're going to have an international presence where those kids from overseas have the ability to connect with US coaches. Talasopagia is the other one that a lot of coaches use.
When a kid puts in 100, 200 time, can he indicate FAT?
Yep. So let me come. I don't know if we did that. 1 second. Where is the? Let's see. This is the 400. Yeah. So what? And I happen to select the 400 time in this video. When you
Mhm.
do long jump, triple jump, 100, 200, you are going to be able to put in any wind dated times. There's a specific section right up here that
Okay,
allows for that.
beautiful. You mentioned the app several times. Can an athlete or a coach also navigate this from a desktop?
At this point, no. We are trying to keep it in, and I'm glad you brought that up because right now it is a iOS app. It is not available on an Android system at this point. That is like one of the most important things we're trying to do. But we wanted to make sure that if we did it the right way on the first one,
Hmm.
and we got all the kinks worked out. And so it's another thing that we've heard from and we're working on. But at this point, it is an iOS app only, no desktop version.
All right, no desktop or Android,
Correct.
Google Play.
Mhm.
Okay, and when an athlete signs up, is there a cost?
So right now, we do not have a cost for either coach or athlete. At some point, probably not for the next at least 6 months, are we going to charge an athlete. And the goal here is obviously, and what we want to do is if you sign up within the next 6 months, and it's not going to be before 6 months, it might be greater, right? So it's going to be available to you for free forever. It's not like we're going to start charging you after a certain point. So
Mhm.
getting signed up today is going to be important because 6 months from now, what we plan on doing is probably charging 99 cents a month for the athlete. Um, the college coach will be able to join for free, and there is no charge for them at this point for any service for any time.
Fantastic. You and I were talking before we started recording that you have um, some future thoughts for how your app and potential site can develop. Are you able to share any of that with us, or a little too early?
Yeah, so we do want, and again, one of the biggest interests that we've seen is high school coaches, right? I think whether it be just trying to help their kids get recruited and move on to the next level, or just try to educate themselves on, because I think a lot of high school coaches sometimes they're great sprint or distance coaches, but they're always asked to do different event areas that might not be their specialty, right?
Hmm.
So we are going to try to partner and bring educational content to the high school coach free of charge. And that's been moved up on the list because it was something that we did not think it was always something that we thought about, but we didn't think the interest was there quite like the student athlete side of it. But that's now a priority of ours, and we're almost there. We're very close to that.
Excellent. And as far as registration, right now it is strictly college coaches and high school athletes. So when I post our discussion to YouTube and send it out to Twitter to our membership, who are obviously 99% high school coaches, their job will be to tell their athletes to go ahead and get registered. The high school coach will not register, but the athletes need to go ahead and get registered.
So, and the one thing, if you are a high school coach who wants, I think, if you want that piece of getting additional education or learning about the recruiting process, go to recruitflow.com. You can sign up as a coach. It'll build a database for us that allows us to, once that's ready, to let you know instantly.
Okay, so there is a future then to add high school coaches. Not just yet, but that's something down the line.
I'm hoping in the next 3 to 6 months tops that we're able to do that.
Awesome.
And then, so rather than constantly checking back, so recruitflow.com is just a sort of interest page where you can go up as an athlete coach or a high school coach and say, hey, this is something I'm interested in. And it allows us then to reach out to you when when that piece is ready. So originally it was launched a few months ago, and it was for college coaches and student athletes. And once the app was available to download, we, let everyone know. So if you are a high school coach who's looking for additional information, there's two ways you could do it. You can go to recruitflow.com, sign up or it's not sign up. It is more of a let me know later forum.
Mhm.
Or if you're on the app and you try to sign up as a coach and you don't have an EDU, it's going to send us an alert, or sends me an alert. And I'm keeping track of those people, and I'm emailing every one of them back individually myself, right? You will not get a candid email from sort of a template. I will reach out to you, say, hey, at this point, this is for college coaches only, but I will let you know when the high school piece is available from a coaching standpoint.
Oh, that's fantastic. How does your service benefit the athletes in a way that traditional recruiting services are missing?
I think, and again, I think everyone has their niche when it comes to recruiting, but I think ours is very specific. It's not like, hey, build a profile and we have this database of 1,000 coaches and we're just going to send it out weekly to see kind of what bites. It's like fishing, right? Like throwing out a line, seeing what happens.
Hmm.
And coaches on the same side they're getting emails from every recruiting service right now, whether there's a dozen out there that are good, but their inbox is being overloaded with a lot of stuff on top of just their everyday job of what they have to do. So what we're trying to do is eliminate that and only put the coaches in contact with who they are interested in. Right. So I think when it's a benefit to both, it's a benefit to the coach because you're getting quality information for what you're looking to, build your team around. But from an athlete side too, you're not just going into 1,000 inboxes, right? You're really getting in front of the coaches that are interested in you.
Well, that right there uh, pretty much says it all. So,
Yeah.
regardless, when that athlete signs up and he or she, especially as a freshman, has his or her first competition and there's something to register, now college coaches can start taking some notice.
And like right now as a high school athlete, and like, let's just use outdoors, right? Because right now, if you're a cross country kid, um, you can obviously add some things because we just started running this past weekend.
Hmm.
But if, and we're not really sure what the indoor season is going to look like, but you can start, if you're a junior or senior or even a sophomore, you can start building that profile and start inputting all that information from the prior meets that you had from last year and the year before, and kind of really start making yourself a presence. Um, and I think, that's when coaches just want to see who you are, and it's both sides. It's not like you could be the greatest athlete in the world, but you know, coaches want to know that you're not going to, fail out of school. They want someone
Right.
that that is going to be there, who's going to show up to class. And again, going back to what we were saying earlier about sort of the world that we live in now, like you might be in a virtual classroom, and that's, that's a tough situation to be in, to
Hmm.
try to pay attention and keep your grades up. And coaches want to know that you're going to be able to do both sides of the coin, be a student athlete, right? Exactly what the name is.
Right. And the other interesting thing, just thought about, while a coach is potentially looking at a YouTube video that you've posted or your mile split FAT times, he or she can also see your GPA,
Mhm.
your SAT. So he knows, all right, here's where you fit, but academically, I know there's monies available
Yep.
as well. So all that full
Yeah.
picture really helps the coach.
And I think, a lot of kids, even high school coaches, they don't realize sometimes, what that recruiting process is and how coaches have to go to bat and fight for kids. Because
Yeah.
again, you know, track and field's not football, for men. And then we'll just say from a Division I standpoint, because I
Yeah.
can't off the top of my head reiterate all the numbers, but I think, men,
18
there's
and
12.
12.6 and
Yeah, like so, in track and field, there's a lot of events, and there's coaches want to add depth to each event. So, it's and that's the other key thing. Like I may have 400 or 500 meter runners, and as a team, my head coach might say, hey, we need a long jumper, we need a triple jumper, we need someone else because the odds of putting 8 people in a final of 100, that's tough, right? So we need to score points. So again, that's what coaches do. They are looking at diversifying their program and making sure that they have event areas that are not covered.
yeah, it's really clever. So before you and I end this discussion, let me just ask you, um, for the athlete, give us your final word. Why recruit flow?
I just think recruit flow is going to bring a different recruiting process to each individual athlete, and it is very customized. And again, I'll always go back to what I think what makes us different. And
Mhm.
personally, because obviously one of the as one of the co-founders, one of the more elite recruiting platforms that's going to be around is we are not just trying to, you know, take the information and blast it out. We really want to try to connect you as an individual, as an athlete, based off of an educational as well as athletic capability, and assist you in moving to the program that's going to be the best fit for you. Right. I think that's the biggest piece is just making sure that you're leaving your family to go to another family, right?
Right.
People don't realize that, like tracking, like, and it's all sports, right? When you go to a program, and that's why people go on visits, like you have to find the program or the university that is the best fit from you in all aspects, right? If you're going to be miserable there because of whatever reason, I don't care what school it is, you're not going to enjoy your collegiate experience.
That's true. That's true. And you are a former collegiate track athlete. You're a hurdler at FSU.
And I'll tell you this, and then just a little bit of background about myself. I'm originally from Pennsylvania. Um, I was a walk-on at FSU. I was given the opportunity just to walk on and um, earn a scholarship, and I was fortunate enough to do that in my senior year. But I understand, like, going to a new place, going 1,000 miles away from home and trying to I don't say fit in, because I think I did a great job of that, but it's just trying to find the program that is really going to take you in and treat you, whether you're a walk on or you're a full scholarship athlete, the same, right? You and at my time at Florida State, I felt that from day one. It didn't
Mhm.
matter if I was the best or the worst on the team. I was given every coach. I had, like, there was no coach that wasn't available to help me out at any time. There was no service from trainers to other staff that was not available for me at any time. And I think that's really what made the big difference.
And to all of our Texas track and field high school athletes who are going to sign up, understand that when that coach and you connect through the app, that coach is already is thinking of an inherent interest to make, as you said, your experience a memorable experience beyond simply your college years.
Mhm. Yeah, good coaches, you're always going to call, because college is, it's 4 years. You're going to build a lot of friendships, but the friendships that I've had, and I've all of my coaches that I've had, I've been able to call, talk to. And I think, and it could be, it's not always about it. It's usually about life. Like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
and you just build that trust, right? You build that foundation to really trust someone to give you feedback that is going to help. Family's family. They're going to do certain things that maybe
Right.
don't give you like an honest answer all the time, but that coach is going to be there for you 100% of the time. And like, that's big. And again, when you're picking a school and you're working with a coach, that's what you want to look for.
Well, this is fantastic. Joe, we are going to start promoting this this afternoon. We're going to get this out to our high school athletes here in the state of Texas in hopes that it really helps, as you mentioned, bridge that gap
Mhm.
so that it makes their job a little bit easier. They've got a tough enough job in school during these crazy times. So hopefully this app will put them in touch with coaches that perhaps they had not thought about before, and
Perfect. Yeah.
programs now can reach to them that they just never thought of.
Yeah. And then again, like I said, I'm responding to emails constantly. So if there's any questions, I can be contacted through Twitter or team@recruitflow.com. Um, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions or concerns or that anyone, whether it be a college coach, a high school coach, or a student athlete, and even a student athlete parent, feel free.
Fantastic. Joe, we appreciate your time. We look forward to great success. And, as you mentioned, the future development of this app.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, Stuart. And again, enjoy the weekend, enjoy the holiday weekend, and have fun.
Yes, sir. You as well.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.